Hey everybody, what's happening? Today I've got an exercise that's going to help with your limb control um, and dynamics. This is one it's going to seem really easy until you try it, and then it's going to kick your butt a little bit, hopefully, because that means it's doing some good for you. So this is actually an exercise that Tony Williams would do and teach, but he got it from his teacher Alan Dawson. So this is an Alan Dawson exercise. And it's done for all four limbs. I'm going to explain it for three just to keep things simple. And that's how I recommend starting it. And then you could add your left foot afterwards. And the idea is this. What you're going to do is you're going to play unisons with your hands and your feet at the same time. You know, pick three different drums. I like floor tom, snare drum, bass drum, or floor tom, tom one, bass drum. You can pick whatever you want. And what you're going to do is basically just play some notes. Doesn't matter how fast, how slow. It's not a speed exercise. What you want to do is just make sure that you're not flamming. So everything's hitting at the same time. You're not none of that business. You know, at the same exact time. Now, this in and of itself can be tricky. If you're having a hard time with this, slow it down. Now, this seems kind of goofy, and you're probably like, man, this isn't going to teach me anything. But here's where it gets tricky. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to speed it back up a little bit. Now what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of your limbs, and you're going to crescendo and decrescendo, which means to raise the volume and then lower the volume, but only with that one. So I'm going to start with the right hand, and then bring it back to neutral. Notice when I did that, the other limbs did not raise volume. I'll do left. So what this does, and then bass drum. What this does is give you complete control of your limbs. So on and so on. It's really not that easy. So take it slow. Make sure that you're focusing on making sure that they're double stops, which is not a flam. Flam is double stop is when you hit two at the exact same time, which is kind of a weird name because you're not really stopping, but that's what it's called. Anyway, when you get that down, then do it with all three. When you get the hang of it, then you could speed up and alternate one after. So you raise this one, bring this one up, and then bass drum, and so on and so on and so on. This is going to help you out. Where the practical application of this is this. I hear this sometimes, and it kind of drives me crazy, but that's just me. So let's say you're playing a drum beat. Now, if you notice, my right hand is keeping consistent time, while my left hand, I can hit as loud or as quiet as possible. It's not going to affect my right hand. Sometimes what I see, I'll put on the quiet part, is with people is every time they hit their snare drum, they're lifting both up and they're hitting the cymbal louder. And it gives you a much different kind of sloppy kind of feel, unless that's what you're going for. But if you're not, it sounds just kind of like you're not in control. So I'll give you an example of that. So here's control, and then I'll show you not control. So now watch this. It's not really what I'm going for. I don't want to accent the cymbal every time I hit the snare drum and crack it in there. The other advantage that this is going to do, besides give you control of all your limbs, which will give you independence ultimately and dynamic control, is we're also learning to use the bass drum dynamically, which I don't hear very often. Usually we just hit it and it's loud and it is what it is. That doesn't mean we can't play the bass drum dynamically too. If you're a bebop player, you know what it is to either play the bass drum lightly or feather it and then sometimes really punch it in or what they call drop a bomb on it. So that's that. So that's the Tony Williams dynamics exercise. Try it out. Any questions, problems, you let me know. All right, good luck.